Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm Gary, and that is not David. And we got Little Lemonhead. Hey, how y'all doing? It's Saturday. It's 2 in the afternoon. I got my grain mill today. I am so excited. I started watching videos on milling your own wheat berries right around Christmas time, beginning of the year. And so I went ahead and I ordered a grain mill, and there's those things are rarer than hen's teeth. They're just not in stock. I don't know if there's been a run on grain mills over the last year and a half, but um, it just arrived today. It took 4 months. It was on back order for 4 months before it finally arrived. So I camped out on the front porch waiting for the Federal Express guy to show up, and he showed up with my grain mill, and I was jumping around like a 7-year-old on Christmas Day. So I went ahead and set it up, and I'm trying my first loaf of bread with it. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm pretty excited about that. Um, I wanted to just do a reading on um, just what's the energy looking like for the second half of April. You know, we got Taco Tuesday coming up with Marina this coming Tuesday, and that happens to coincide with Trump's deadline for Iran to make a deal. And it's so interesting when you read the news cycle how Trump is saying Iran's making all these concessions and they're this close to signing it, and then Iran comes out and says, "Yeah, no, not really, no." And it's sad because I tend to believe the Iranians more than I believe our own government. You know, of course, you got that crack team of negotiators: Witkoff, Kushner, and J.D. Vance. Talk about, they're not even good enough to be the B team. They're the team that the junior varsity runs up the score 81-0 on the football field. You know what I'm talking about? And it's just Trump is so desperate for an off ramp, and I think Iran knows it. So any deal that Trump comes up with is certainly not going to be as good as the one that Obama had, in my opinion. Who knows, right? You know, never write him off. He has this uncanny ability to survive. You know, he's got the luck of the Irish ×3. But I just want to see what the energy is going to be like in the second half of April, because, you know, the rhetoric starts getting ramped up, and at some point, Trump's either got to poop or get off the pot. You know, he's out there threatening, you know, total annihilation of a society, and you know, as a tool, saber rattling tool to get him to the negotiating table. Well, if you don't get a deal, at some point you have to establish credibility. So I don't know what's going to happen, and let's see what's going to happen. Like I said, I've got a family friend that's in the Marines as the reserves, and he's been put on an assignment. So, you know, can't say where he's going, can't say when he'll be back, but he is not at home. So hope you're doing okay, my friend. So let's take a look, see what's going on. Just follow the cards. Keep an open mind. Try not to be too scared, and see what's going to happen next. What's going to happen in the second half of April? You got the Hangman. We're going to hang people. Well, the Hangman's either, you know, you don't like the position you're in, or you're going to start looking at things in a different way. Yeah, in this case, Trump's deal with Iran, he might look at Obama's deal and say, you know, I criticized it all this time, and it really wasn't such a bad deal. He would never say that, right? He would only say that it was the worst deal. So you got the Hangman. We got to look at things a different way, or things are going to be put in a way that we're not comfortable with. The challenge is the Page of Cups. We're going to have more of the MAGA crazy, more of the shenanigans going on. This feels like the Iranian negotiations to me. Okay, a perfect card for that. Energy underneath, the Knight of Cups. Hey, you know, what can we offer you to make this thing move along better. Yeah, kind of a peace offering, if you will. It's feeling a lot like the peace negotiations with Iran. In the past, you got the Seven of Swords. Trump trying to basically steal Iranian assets, like their oil, for example. You could say that Iran has outmaneuvered Trump, and they're just making off with a bunch of things of value, if you will. Swords are usually about ideas and intelligence, and so if you do it intelligence-wise, either Iran's coming up with intelligence, and their intelligence in the past is probably understanding how Trump was going to react, what he was going to do, and how he was going to act, and they were ready to go. Current situation was our card for all of us yesterday, the Hermit. So the second half of April, just trying to find a path forward. It seems like these negotiations might be going longer than 2 weeks. Overarching energy is the Ace of Swords. Try and come up with a new idea, a new set of truths to move this thing forward. Or it could be, let's bring the fight back. Lesson to be learned is Queen of Pentacles. Take care of those around you. Be kind. Be gentle. Be caring. Be understanding. Be compassionate. Be diplomatic. Don't worship money. Outcome is the Six of Wands. The victory. Actions that have been taken that will be deemed victorious. So it seems to me that what I'm seeing on this is Iran planned well. The U.S. and Iran will continue to try and find a long-term path forward. There'll have to be some new ideas or a new way of doing things, and there's going to be a victory declared. Now, Trump's going to declare victory either way, whether it's an actual victory or not. So, that's nothing new there. So we'll see what that translates to in the next 2 weeks. All right. There was a Republican congressman in Texas, and I'm going to go look up his name because I don't have it on the top of my head. Stand by. So the Republican congressman was Troy Nehls, who was quoted as saying he thinks Trump is better than sliced bread, and he's almost like the second coming of Jesus. You think after all of the nonsense that happened and all the backlash that happened over the last week with those AI generated pictures that showed Trump as a Jesus-like figure, you think the Republicans would want to sort of tone that shit down? Guess not. I don't know if this is a story or not. Dave mentioned it. I'm not sure what the source was, but there's some there's speculation out there that what happened was with that picture where Trump thought he was a doctor healing people, someone might have said to Trump that this was a doctored photo. And his addled brain translated that to, oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, I'm healing people. I'm helping people. Yeah, go ahead. This is great. And that makes sense when he says that he took the picture down, and normally he wouldn't, but the picture was confusing people, and he didn't want people to be confused. Guess who people is? I think it's singular, and I think it's someone who has a slightly orange hue to his skin tone. So, yeah, that whole debacle was because Trump doesn't listen and can't hear and is becoming more and more demented as he gets older. Lord help us all. Okay, so let's take a look at just the energy around the negotiations with Iran. So it seemed like the first reading when I was doing the April energy reading was the negotiations, and there was going to be a victory declared. Let's do a side by side. How's Iran feeling about these negotiations as over the next several days. And how is Trump feeling about it? And oh dear, that's not a good card. Knight of Swords. Okay, the Knight of Swords is about charging boldly forth, kind of reckless action for all of you Monty Python fans. Think of Holy Grail and Sir Lancelot going at, attacking the wedding guests. Not understanding the situation, but then going in full tilt boogie. So how is Iran feeling? They want this to come to an end. You can't hurt us anymore. You've done all the damage you can do to us. You can't hurt us anymore. And this is going to come to an end. And the world is going to see exactly what happened. You got fatigue from all the actions that have been taken. And there's actions going to be considered regarding the future. What's Trump's side thinking? I'm the all-powerful government. I have a choice. You got heartbreak, betrayal. So what I'm getting from this is Trump is large and in charge. I gave you a choice. You could become rich with me, or you could die. Wow. So once again, it's in. Trump's trying to rush them to a deal, and I think Iran's playing the long game on this. So there we go, back in focus. I have a hunch this is going to be going a little longer than we thought it was going to be. Just based on those cards there. So, I could be wrong. Could be everything resolved by Tuesday. Who knows? Let's do one more reading. I want to look at Pope Leo. I really like Pope Leo. As a good man there. I mean, the Pope, it should be a good man, right? But he just seems to get it. And he's not afraid to put it out there. So let's see. Let's just get the energy around Pope Leo and what's going on in the world. What can we learn from Pope Leo? Entertainment purposes only. Okay. That you don't have to accept the stuff that's in front of you. There's always something better that can be on offer. Consider how your actions impact the future. Reaping what you sow. You could go for the short-term satisfaction or the long-term satisfaction. Consider that carefully. Reject the violence and the chaos that's going on. Reject the idolatry, the greed, and the lust for money and power. And if you do that, a better future. You have a better outlook, a better soul, a better future, a better outcome. So that's what I'm getting from that. Anyways, and I will leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you. I hope you all have a good Sunday. And Dave and I, we may do a recording tonight. We might not. I might head over to the Stanford Theater tonight or tomorrow. They're playing Hitchcock now, and it's North by Northwest and the 39 Steps. And I've never seen the 39 Steps, although I know how it ends, or, kind of how it ends. So, but I'd like to see the movie. North by Northwest I've seen probably a dozen times. I know how that one ends. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day, folks, and I'll catch you soon. Take care. Bye.